Anyone around? How's my audio levels? Just getting started here. Oh, why the chat shouldn't be over here anyway. Oh my god, did Windows just crash on me? No, it did not. There we go. Okay, just getting started. I think this is the one I wanted to look at. Yeah. So basically, I have this old Lua project where I demonstrate rollbacks. It's just a little test, easy to follow kind of thing. For anybody who's interested, you can check this out too. It's at this link, Demo Fighter with netcode under RC Magic / Demo Fighter with netcode. But I'm just going to pull the sprites from this since I created them. It's easy enough to use. So, yeah, let me just clone that real quick. I created this on a different computer, so hold on. That's the right one. Okay. This should be okay. And basically, I'm just going to go through here, assets, player 1, player 2. I'm going to, I don't have any sounds yet. Probably going to take these sounds for later. We'll pull those in later. So I'm just going to, we have two colors basically, so I'm going to go ahead and use those. And you can see, this is for turning, I guess. This, or, oh, this is an attack. This is an attack. So we have idle and an attack basically. That's all we have for this. But yeah, I'm going to take those two and copy them. We have assets. Let's add a new folder. It's called animation. And let's just say we call it test Cara 1. So yeah, let's just call it test Cara 1, and then hold on. Let's just call it color 1. Oops, let's delete that real quick. So we're gonna have two sets of animations. Normally you'd have like a sprite with indexed colors, so you could just swap out palettes, but you can also do things like this. So I'm just gonna say, let's say color 1, color 2. Well, we can also do color 0, color 1. It doesn't really matter that much. Well, because we're just going to be specifying the list of things to load anyway. Okay. Let's see. Yes, we get the... Cool. So I just want to have two different sets of colors for both characters. Okay. So let's see in Raylib how we can set up these colors. Or sorry, these sprites. By the way, this is more of a casual stream. It's nothing as serious as other ones because I just don't. It's not really. I don't really consider this part of the core game, fighting game series. Yeah. Anyway, that's why I look a little rough this morning. I just woke up. Finished my coffee though, so I'm a little motivated. Yeah. So how are we going to load sprites? Oh, by the way, I think we can just run that old project as well, just for funsies. Does it run here? Oh, I think I need to install something. Love, I believe. Yeah. I think I had instructions for doing that. Oh. Yeah, I get Love. Yeah. So I can install Love, which is like a Lua framework for doing games. I thought I didn't have bad scripts on this. Okay. Well, that's nothing to worry too much about. Anyway, Yeah. So how do we do sprites? Is there any sprite stuff? Create an image from text. How do we load? Textures. So we have a load image raw, load image anim, load image from memory, load image from texture, load image from screen. I think I'm just going to load image. Yeah. Also, let's just look real quick at RayLib, see if there's an example. Let's look at examples. Examples sometimes are the best way to go about. So let's look at textures. What is this one? RayLib logo. Let's just look at RayLib logo. What do they do? Oh, that's great. This is a great example. We get a texture, and we can draw a texture. That's exactly what I want to do. So let's just test that real quick. I think that's the easiest thing to do. So we have to do it after the window initializes. Understood. Okay, so let's just go through and that's our game loop. So game loop starts. Let's just make a test sprite real quick. It can't obviously be texture 2D. It needs to be something like, I'm assuming it's RL texture 2D. And obviously it's going to be a const. And we need like I'm going to get RL load texture. Let's see if that compiles real quick. Obviously that's not the asset we're going to use. Well, it would be, I think, assets, animation, test car 1, color, whoops, color 1, and then what is our animations? It's attack 0, 0, okay. Let's just do idle 0, 0, it's just idle 0, 0, okay. Idle 0, 0. By the way, how's everyone doing this fine morning? Okay. Yeah, let's see. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And then we do a draw texture thingy. Okay. Let's just go ahead and just draw that on top of everything. Oh, at the very end. That should be rl.draw texture. Who knows what this will be? What's going to do? I think this is just position, so let's just do 400, 400. Okay. I guess white is some kind of blending color. Okay. This should be okay. We should get the right type from doing this. Let's go ahead and do it. Run the game. Well, the comments are for myself. Yeah, because it's so much code. I'm not going to... I write comments to say what am I intending to do or what is code supposed to be doing, right? Not exactly. I don't try to explain what it's doing in detail. It's more like, what am I trying to do, right? Use undeclared white. Okay. Oh, I think it has to be rl.white, yeah. Because that's our module name for the RayLib. The loaded RayLib. Okay, so we have the sprite down here clearly. It's a little off frame. Let's just go ahead and... So clearly we know how to load and draw sprites. That's no problem now. Now we need to store the in our persistent storage now. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do with comments. I'm like, yeah, this is the section that's going to be handling this, and then the implementation. The code tells you what it does, right? As far as like how it works. But the comments are supposed to be what it's supposed to be doing in human language, right? Yeah, so we got our loaded sprite. That works. That's pretty easy. That's why I like this library. RayLib is like no nonsense. Okay, so what shall we do now? So we need to have a pipeline for loading the textures we want into... Hold on a second. Yeah, we need a pipeline for loading them into our persistent storage. So we need some kind of data structure that indicates images. We need some kind of key to reference the images, so like a sequence of images for an animation. So So I can show you what I did in the other project, the demo fighter with netcode. It's pretty straightforward. I think I have it in player object, maybe. What is it? Idle? No, that's not where that is. This is Lua code, by the way, so it's a little obviously different. Where did I do this? Did I not do it in here? This will reload everything. Okay, so we get image sequences. Where did that come from? It's not in this file, I guess. Character states, maybe? Okay, yeah. So we just had a base structure of like, each attack has a list of frames that it uses or images it uses with an offset. So we can just copy this data actually. It's going to be very useful for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and just paste that notepad for our notes. So we need a CMR structure. Basically keys for each state that, well, keys for each animation that references source files. And we'll just go through that list and load. Okay, for now, let's open that in our, actually have player data, player object now. Close that out. I'm gonna close this. Okay. So there's really two ways we could do this. We could have like a separate data structure that indicates which all the assets we referenced and which ones to load with like a key to the animation, and then we can then re-reference that. We can reference that animation with a frame inside of each attack, and I think that's a better way to go. It means you can reuse things without referencing the images directly inside your attack or inside the action. So for the action itself, say we have properties. You know how we have like this list of hitbox groups and attack hitbox groups. We could have something like animations, or animation timeline, and that would just be a list of images and which frames they appear on. So we'd have some kind of array list again, and then we'd have the image. What don't we call it? Maybe image range or something. I don't really have a good name for it right now. We can change it, and then we'd have another new object, new struct. I'm sorry, image range. This is just for referencing the actual image we load, right? We need like an image range struct, and that would store fields like, let's just use a string key for now. We'll go back and maybe deal with this differently in a bit. But so we need to do all this stuff for JSONifying. Well, we don't actually need to stringify yet because we're not actually writing anything out at the moment. But we'll have to come back and support that at some point. But yeah, we just need an init, effectively. So what fields do we need? Well, we need a reference to the sequence. So let's just say a sequence is was it const u8? Is that what we're using for strings? Oh, it's like this. Oops. Yeah. And then we need a start and end, right? Like we have the start and duration, actually. Let's just do start, I32, duration, I32. Are we doing, we're saying, yeah. Let's just say start by default 0, duration equals 1, and we need a let's call it a, what do we call it, my other thing? This is called index. Yeah. Sequence and index. Or image index. Just index is fine. I'm bad with naming, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have that, and index by default is set to 0. Okay, and I don't think we need a init function necessarily. Well, we'll come back to that. But basically, yeah, so this should be able to get loaded into data, and then, well, we'd have to add a list of, yeah. So we have the list of these image ranges. That's fine. Yeah, we'll call this the animation timeline. And yeah, so I'm gonna make sure there's no errors there. Oops. Yeah, that's why I built everything. Missing field. Oh, it's probably because I need a init function. I need to set that in the init. Hold on. Sorry. Not stringify, but yeah, we need something like this. So animation timeline equals. Okay. Is that what the issue is? Yeah, okay. Cool. So we at least have the per action data we need to reference these images. Now we need the actual part where we load everything. So the part where we actually load the images themselves, we need add something to our character properties directly. So we have, right now we just have max health and actions. Let's add animation sequence. Let's say animation sequences. So let's do, or we can do image sequences. Really, how do you want to call it? And it doesn't really matter that much. Let's just say image sequences because it's. Oh, actually, one more thing we'll need is an offset for these things. So we'll get to that. Yeah. So we need something like this. Yeah, image sequences is what I call it there too. So let's make a standard array list. Image sequence. We don't support loading hash maps yet, so we can't load like something with a key and value directly. So we'll get to dealing with that here in a second. So let's add a new struct, image sequence, and we'll just copy what I've done here on this other project. So we have, for each image sequence, we have a source and we have offset. We have a offset, right? So let's do, yeah, let's call it source. Yeah, like the source is, again, it's going to be one of these, like, it's an array of const unsigned ints, right? That's going to be default that. So we can have defaults that don't crash the game. We won't load anything with empty string, right? Or if we can't find the file, we'll be fine. Or maybe it doesn't make sense at all to have an empty image sequence. Well, there might be cases where we want to have an image without. That's not shown. That's just not have a default, just so we can see if there's anything missing. Okay, and then we need called offset x. I'll just call x for the offset and y for I32. I don't want to get too crazy here. Well, blah blah. I just want to keep things simple. Okay. Now we have that set up, and then we'll just set these to have default. So we only have to specify source and offset when we need to. Well, offset when we need it. Did I forget? Okay. we'll reorganize this stuff at some point, just so things are more associated with what they. Hold on. Doors. Oops. Actually, that's wrong. We need a list, right? Oops. So image sequences. So let's call it an image, right? So yeah. So each, yeah. So we'll get to that. So we need a key that lists multiple images. That's what that we actually do. And we could call it a sequence image if we want. And this is called an image for now because it's within our character data. Okay, so we have that, and then we need also an image sequence that's gonna be stored within our character properties. We're just doing this so it's easily serializable. So it's called image sequence. Or is a single image with an offset. What's called a single image with an offset. The list of images. Okay, so we'll have a name for the sequence, which will also be a const u8. We'll have inside of here, we'll have a centered list of images. Okay. Since we do have the centered list, we need some kind of memory allocation, right? So we'll just copy this. Okay. This function. Oops, that's not where I want to put it. Put this here. Make it a image sequence that we return. Take an allocator, return the image sequence. Oh yeah, this image sequence. Sorry, images. And then image is going to be assigned to image, allocator. It looks fine. Everything should be fine. Hold on, let's make sure we're all on kosher with this. Okay. So we got that. That data structure wise, it looks okay. And then inside here we have image sequences. We still need to initialize this as well. So go ahead and do the same kind of thing. Image sequences. Yeah, that's fine. We've got image sequences. And then sequence. That should be all good. Did we get any errors? .126. What did we mess up? Oh, we forgot our semicolon. .137. What did I mess up? Oh, we need a comma here. Oopsie daisy. Missing field name. Oh, name is not. That's why I didn't assign it. So image sequence needs a name. So, how do we want to handle this? I don't want to like force unnecessary burden on people. So I'm just gonna make a default of that. I don't know if it's gonna bite me in the ass, but yeah. What? Missing field source. Oh, right. So we can have empty image references. Okay. Okay, there we go. So that's all set up. Now we can go in and try this. So let's go into our character data, test character data. Let's go into, let's add at the very top of our thing, image sequences. So we need image sequences. Each image sequence will be a, so we have a list of these guys, these duders. And each image sequence will have obviously a struct inside, which will have a name. The sequence name will be, for example, we'll have idle, or let's call it standing. Idle's fine for now. And we'll have the images, right? And images itself will be a set of an array of individual images, and they'll have source of the image, and it's gonna be something like assets, was it test chara 1, and then color 1, and then I think it's idle 00. That shouldn't have been open. Okay. Let's see. Yes, we got our source, right? And offset. So we'll have like, hold on, let's look at our timeline. So here we're only referencing this without the PNG and stuff, but for now I'll reference the full path. Okay. So we'll also need a X will be, what was our first? What is our offsets here for idle? Okay, we can call it stand here, I guess. So idle 00, negative 32, oops. Negative 32, whoops, that needs to be an integer. Negative 32, y is 152. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll just call it stand for now. It's lowercase. So we can test loading an image sequence. So we've tested loading 1 like this. This should be right. List of images. Let's try to run the game. And we'll set a breakpoint and see if it's loaded that stuff. Normally I'd write a test for this, but it takes time. So yeah, we crashed. Probably because yeah, we had some issue with our JSON. Right? What's the issue with our JSON? Okay. So we have our image sequences within the character properties, which is an array of images. Image. We have a name and images, which we've assigned, I believe. We have name and images. Oh, it could be. We could have ran out of memory. Actually, I forgot. We need to increase this. Let's just, this buffer. We need to get to handling like this stuff. Okay, yeah, the buffer size wasn't big enough. I need to get around to handling streaming in the text asset, loading while it's streaming instead of loading everything into one size buffer. Okay, let's so we got that loaded. Whoops, I should have let it keep running actually. Let's go to a game. So I'm going to go to our game loop real quick to set a breakpoint. Where do we load our data? Yeah. Let's go to game simulation. Where's our game simulation at? Physics system. Action system input. Oh wow, we have the test in the middle of here. I need to reorganize this stuff. Okay, so if we inspect game state, we should be able to find in the game data, we'll have our characters. We'll have one pointer and stuff. We have image sequences, right? So this stuff should be loaded correctly. So each image sequence should have a name, invalid characters in string. Okay. Images, items, length 1, source. Invalid characters in string. What do we do wrong here? But the offsets are set right. That's interesting. It says invalid characters in string. S. It says length 5. That's right there. And length 32. Maybe this is the debug thing messing up. This is 5 characters, and this is, yeah, close to that. So I don't know what the issue there is. Hopefully, I don't know why the debugger thinks it's invalid characters in string. Maybe because it has a / in it. That's weird. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, we'll just ignore that. And so now we have to load those textures, right? Given the source. So let's do that. So let's go to our loading. Again, our fun loading code, right? So we need to loop through all these image sequences and load them into a. We need to make a map, right? So we need we need some kind of new code in our game data handler stuff. Let's see. Where is that? Game data. Okay. Game state. I think we have it here. Yeah, initialize game. So, we have all this stuff like get the game data, load assets, we generate a map, this kind of stuff. Yeah, so we need something new like try game data. Let's say image sequence. We're going to call it image sequence map because we need to be able to reference the keys, reference the images using a key and an index. It will be just like this, right? So it has something like character data generate image sequence. It's long map. We would have to use loaded data and the allocator. So we need a function like that, right? And we'll do that here and here. And the intent is create a hash map that lets us reference image textures with a sequence name and image and index. Okay. Yeah, that's the intent on that, right? I'm just putting that there. Okay. Oops. So we're going to just copy paste this generate sequence map thing. Generate action names. Go to definite. Oh, okay. Character data. Cool. Generate blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we need a new function called this. It's going to be a public function. And it's going to return, well, it's going to take the same parameters and return the same thing, basically. Well, we'll get to it. Actually, it won't return the same thing exactly, but we do need the string hash map. Well, not a string hash map. String hash map of pointers to those. Oh no, we can just do an index. Yeah. It'll be the same thing. So we'll get an index into to those images. Okay. So it's basically going to work very similar way. So yeah, let's call this sequence name map in a very similar manner, and we're going to loop through, instead of the actions, we're going to loop through. So for character, not actions, but image sequences. Yeah. So when you go through each image sequence, and you need an index, of course, because we're going to reference that. We need to do something like put no clobber like this, right? And then we're going to return the sequence name map. Okay. Oops. And then we need to not add, we need to sequence that name. And that should give it to us, right? And let's go ahead and add a breakpoint here so we can see, whoops, was it here? Not game. No. Game data. Game state, yeah. So we can just check out, see all these things were loaded correctly. Let's go ahead and run it. What do we mess up here? No member name sequence state. 44. We need to add a new. We forgot to do that. I forgot to do that. Okay, let's go to action maps. Hey. Image sequence map. Okay. We're missing that. Missing field image sequence map. Okay. We gotta set the default for that, I guess. Yeah. So same thing, just image sequence map, image sequence map. Okay. No problem there. Easy enough. Forgetting obvious things like a comma. What else forget? What did I leave out? No member name length. Character data set 110. 110. Oh, yeah, it needs to be items, I think. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay. Okay, we hit that. So now, within our game data, we should have, or game, not game data, we should have image sequence map for both characters. So we should have, whoops, so items, so we have two of them, one for each character. Okay, great. And then I don't actually know the storage of this, so, or how well the debugger is gonna handle it. Let's just assume everything there is kosher. I never inspected maps with the debugger here, hash maps, so we're just gonna guess things are okay. Okay, so assuming everything's okay, we should be able to reference our sequence, right? So the way we're gonna just test that real quick is I'm gonna do it from the main, instead of using, so we're gonna have to actually load the textures now. Okay. We can do it other places. We're just gonna do it here. So I'm just gonna do a quick debug check real quick. So we'll get to this. So standard debug print, right? Is it? I think that's right. It needs to be S for string, and I'm just gonna print out properly. It needs to be something from it's game state. I think it's game data dot image sequence map. Hold on, and I need a whoops. How to use action map? Not append. Yeah, so we need something like action in the items, and then we're going to assume 0 is assigned. Oops. And then hold on. Yeah, we need a function like this, actually. Something like this. So let's go ahead and do this. Find sequence, properties, pass in the map. Yeah, I'd like to have more specific type for this, but anyway, sequence name. I'm gonna return optional pointer to image sequence. So image sequence. Okay. And then we'll get the items on that index and return it. Okay. Okay, cool. I think that's gonna work for what we want. So actually, this is real quick. Sequence is gonna be equal to character. Oops. My equal. What happened to my equal sign? I went to an English keyboard or something. Oh, I did. Oops. Okay. Yo, Comic Man, how's it going? We're just working on adding sprites to the game for testing purposes here. Okay. Have I imported the character data into this? I have not. Hold on to your horses. This is just for testing purposes. I'm just gonna drop this in here real quick. Okay. Character data find sequence. Okay. Let's call we need the blah 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 blah. Hold on. What are we doing here? Find action. We pass in the character. So we need the character data itself. Something like game state, game data, and then we need characters dot items, and this is first entity. Okay, we have that, and then we find the image that's called stand, or the sequence that's called stand. So that should give us that, and so within the sequence itself, test sequence. Well, let's call it test sequence real quick. Or just sequence easier. So sequence dot, was it images? Is what we call it. The items. So first item, and then source. I think would give us that. I believe. Probably wrong somewhere here. Oh, the speech to text stopped working. Yeah, it stops working sometimes. I have to focus it. There we go. Yeah, it's really strange. Probably just a quirk of Windows and not updating. Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, weird. Okay, I don't know. It's I probably have to set something else up. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So if the window isn't focused, it doesn't work, I guess. Sometimes it does though. Let me hard refresh this and start again. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Testing? No, it's just not going to work today. So that's let's look into it later. Unfortunately, I haven't spent a lot of time on that. But thank you for pointing that out. I did not notice. Okay, use undeclared identifier action name. Blah 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 blah. Oh, I messed up there. Let's go to it shouldn't be action name, it should be image sequence. Oh, sequence name, sorry, sequence name. Okay. Does not support field access. Ooh, okay. That's probably my bad. So let's just go. Oh yeah. If this, then we get a sequence. Unpack that. Optional. We should get access to the field, right? Forgot to be kidding me. Oh. Oops. Yeah, that's optional too. Oops. Was game state also optional? Oh no, it isn't. Okay. I think I need a second cup of coffee to get myself focused. Okay, what are the errors here? Expected type, blah, 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 blah. 44, found pointer to blah, 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 blah. So I can't just pass in. Does this hate me? Does this hate me a lot? Found a pointer to a const. Expected type. Oh, oops, maybe. Oops, oopsity doops. Oopsity doopsity doops. Oh, I forgot to pass in the hash map. That's important. So we need game data dot image sequence map dot items dot 0. Okay. That's how we're doing things around here. Yeah, I have no idea something. Okay. Format does not like what I'm doing. Error expected to struct argument. Oh, oops. Again, C way of thinking. I need to remember this is Zig. Okay, let's just return. I actually got an error on this. Oh, no, that's the previous thing. So everything test image. Okay, so clearly we've loaded things here. So let's go through here and make sure that the name of the sequence is correct. Name it should be assets animation test 1. Okay. So it should be idle underscore 00. We have assets. Oh, animation. Okay. This is the right path, I think. Assets animation test 0, test care 1. Okay. So now that we have that, we need to load the textures. We haven't loaded the textures yet. So what we're gonna have to do is loop through everything and like reference the texture we loaded. We're gonna have to store the textures themselves in a list somewhere. That's another level of abstraction we'll have to handle. We could store them in some kind of struct, but I think I'm gonna store them in a flat array of textures for now, just in a big list. And we'll just reference those with a key. We could just have another map that takes the sequence name and the index and gives us back a texture. Yeah, we could do that. So we need a map with the sequence as a key, and then just a list of images. Sorry, with a texture. Yeah. So we'll move this stuff around, but just to get started here, we're gonna just throw everything in the game, and we'll come back to it. So we need a struct, oops, and we're gonna call it sequence. So text ref or something. So what do we need in it? So we need the texture. So I think it's texture. What is the type? Well, we looked at this earlier. Whoops. We looked at this earlier, I think. In this example. The type was texture 2D. Okay. The type was texture 2D. So let's say texture is texture 2D. What else do we need to reference to? Well, actually, we want a list of textures, right? That's pretty much what we want. So we want a standard array list of these textures, which I believe will just be a pointer. I don't know what this actually ends up being in Zig. So we look here. It's actually just a texture 2D struct. Okay. So yeah, we'll just store it here like this. And anything else we need in a texture reference. Honestly, we could have a hash map that just to keep things a little more straightforward in case we want to store anything else in here. We'll just do that. Yeah, we'll just have that text that set up, and then we'd have to call init on it. We need a init function for setting these things up. So well, we'll get to that here in a second. So, but we'll need something like a what is our hash map set up like? Character data. So we generate hash map. And so something like this, right? Sorry, let me go here, and we need like sorry, we'll do this just for testing purposes for now. Sequence text map, okay. And this needs to be a standard string, standard string map, hash map of the type. We already put up there, was it sequence text ref? It needs to be that type. We're going to set it to undefined here. Or we don't need to do undefined. We can do standard string hash map sequence text ref dot init, right? Allocator. Okay. Actually, I'm just gonna do. We don't want to do that for now, but let's see. We got a reference to our sequences of textures. Okay, we don't need this anymore. This was our test code. But what we'll need to do is load each of those textures, right, into this map. And for every time we add a new, we'll have to add a new init function for the thing up there, maybe. But yeah, we need to go through every sequence, so we can't do a find sequence here. We have to loop through all the sequences. Oh, okay. And the way we loop through all the sequences is for game data. Let's just load the first character for now, then we'll do both. But for game data dot character No, I don't want to go through the image sequence map. I want to go through items 0 dot, and there should be what it image sequences items for each of those. Go to sequence. So I might have to kind of like backtracking a little bit on these things. For each sequence, actually we're gonna do something similar to what we did here. Yeah. For each sequence, we'll do this. And actually we'll probably move the textures to here. Or should we should go ahead and just load the textures here, right? We already have this code. So what we'll need to do is we need to pass in our, I don't know if I want to do the loading texture from the character data file. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me think for a second. Okay. Yeah, let's just bite the bullet and do that. I thought this would be a short stream, but I realized it's a lot more work and a lot more involved. But once we get this done, it's going to help us like test a lot of stuff. With that, I'll be right back. All right, let's, I really wish this would work. I don't know why you're bothered. Maybe if I set this on another monitor or something, it would continue to work. I'm not sure. Maybe it's an OBS problem. Yeah, because like if I'm talking right here, it's fine. Is this, if I do this, does it fix it? It's being funny. Yeah, it's like it's not rendering it or something. That's really strange. Because it's once I focus it, it works. Huh. I don't know what's going on with the OBS. Because I know it's updating. Because I could see it. Yeah, it's just OBS is being weird with it. Yeah. If I put it up the top, is it going to fix it? If I put testing, no. That doesn't work. Automatic. Okay. 1, 2, 3, doesn't work. Okay. Yeah. Strange. Really strange. I need to look and see why OBS can't capture it. Is it, if I make this smaller, does it work? Yeah. let's see. If I do this, does that work now? Yeah, it works now if I like minimize. If OBS is full screen, it doesn't work. I'm not sure what that deal with that is. Maybe it's a Windows thing. It's like clipping out rendering. Okay. I just have to make sure OBS isn't full screen and that fixes it. Okay. Coolio. So what we want to do is actually, I'm going to go to the game here. You see, I'm going to import the raylib here and hopefully I can do this. And then I can load textures. Texture. So we're going to do this instead. We're going to load a texture. Go into the character data. Okay. And generate blue. So this is generate image sequence. For each of these, it's not really necessary that we need our trying to think. How do we want to handle this? Let's just make it convenient runtime data structure here. But for now, we're going to we need to loop through all these images and load them. So for sequence.images, I go through each image, and we're going to load the texture. So we're going to load image.source. We need to get I'm not sure how this is going to work. Let's go ahead and just remove this. Yeah. Let's take that away. Put it in our character data. Just for now, and drop that here really quickly. I'm probably gonna make that pub anyway. So we have our list of textures. We're gonna have a knit function here at some point. We need to store that in here. And so we need a knit function. It needs to be, whoops, be something like this, right? Let's go ahead and just copy paste this. And textures, okay. The textures is going to be equal to array list of rel texture 2Ds. And I get the allocator. And now we're going to turn the self like this. So that should be good. So for each sequence, we need to first init a new duder here, and we need that, and inside each of these we need to append a sequence text. So within our sequence text ref, oops, yeah, dot, didn't like that at all, did it? Not give me anything. Okay, I mean, the texture is going to be equal to this. The problem is, yeah, not equal to, it needs to be texture is that pinned? Is that the right thing? Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need the allocator. It's specified here. Okay. Cool. So we're creating the sequence here. Another way we could do it is we need a list of these text references, right? Actually, in fact, we need a map of those. Let's see. How do I handle this? Game data loading is a pain. Or just like making decisions is a pain. Okay, well, duty. I can't make a decision on this. Well, I kind of know what I want to do. Um, hmm. Well, at least as far as like our loading code goes down is something like this. But I'm gonna make this a two-parter. Unfortunately, I got a meeting to go to very soon, so I'm gonna cut that off here so I can get ready for that. But thanks for everyone dropping by. I know it was a short notice stream. We'll continue very soon. I'll think about this. Anyway, thank you all for dropping by. See you soon. Hope you have a nice rest of your day. Peace.